I welcome you all to this occasion. Drug abuse is both a global health and social problem in Nigeria. It has become a public health and safety menace. Hence, there is no better time than now for us to forcefully address the issue of drug abuse and illicit trafficking, which is threatening the future of our youths and by implication our collective destiny as a nation. Almost on a weekly basis, we hear reports of drug cartels busted by the National Law Enforcement Agency and the involvement of our youths in this dangerous act. The World Drug Report 2021 by the United Nations Offense on Drugs and Crimes puts Nigerian drug use prevalence at 14.4%, which is very high, which according to him is significantly higher than the global average. It means that we are actually overboard. That percentage translates to 14.3 million people, out of which close to 3 million suffer from a drug use disorder. Most of the drug users are between the ages of 15, and I mentioned again 15 and 64, with 40% of underage youths forming the bulk of them. By 2023, Nigeria is projected to have approximately 20 million drug users, further worsening the public health as a drug challenge. The typical Nigerian reaction would be God forbid. But God cannot forbid until the tackle the issues. So I think what to do is to put the framework, expand the framework, and begin to see how they can be mitigated. Available data indicate that commonly abused hard drugs include cannabis, cocaine, heroin, desam, and codeine, amongst others. The report also indicated that there are 11 million cannabis users in Nigeria, a third of whom seem to be regular users with a need for drug counseling. I was happy that you talked about monkey tail. That's prevalent and abused largely by a lot of people. They increasingly begin to see it as medicinal too. Maybe that is the issue. Some said they couldn't catch COVID because they were on that it's a self-prescription, and we found ourselves here. So sadly, many of the culprits are adolescents, undergraduates, secondary school students, young professionals, musicians, sportsmen and women, and celebrities. Factors such as poor socioeconomic background, financial pressures, bad parenting, family problems, peer group pressure, fledgling economic performance, and unrealistic societal expectations are fueling the rise in drug abuse and illicit trafficking. For whatever the reason, the consequences of drug abuse are there. They include mental health problems such as depression, slow development, apathy, withdrawal, psychotic behavior, and serious cardiovascular conditions, including heart attacks. The high incidence of cultism in our schools, delinquencies, and rising cases of divorce are also traceable to substance abusers. And in schools, you always find people call themselves NFA, no future ambition. Your parents sent you to school to study. They sit back and do drugs, and you say your name is NFA, no future ambition. So it means there's a positive correlation between consumption of drugs and disorientation. It's a disorder already. If you brand yourself as having no future ambition, sit back in your rooms. When your mates are studying, you are there. When they come back, they meet you, that's when you walk out. So I think there's a need for us, especially as youth, to ensure that we carry out a self-audit. Are we doing things that are right? Are we emulating our positive peers, not the bad ones? And there's a need to look into that direction. Furthermore, aside from additional healthcare costs that stretch the public healthcare system, people suffering from drug abuse disorders are prone to criminal activities which impact negatively on public safety and the economy. Activities of drug traffickers also undermine the international image of the country. As a result, Nigerians are frequently subjected to all manner of undue and humiliating scrutiny at foreign airports, especially in the West and Middle East. The high rate of drug abuse in Nigeria and the negative impact on public health and safety necessitate that all the relevant stakeholders must rise to the challenge of ridding our society of this count. Therefore, it is my earnest expectation that today's gathering will go beyond the rhetoric of drug abuse in Nigeria to offer action plans to eradicate this crime in the country. The establishment of the Delta State Drug Control Committee is one of the ways the government is tackling the problem. I trust that you will use the occasion of this year's event to take stock and strategize on the future. I expect you to redouble your efforts in creating awareness on the dangers of drugs and the use of your language in conditioning the victims of drug abuse. Instead of calling them the names you call them, call them your clients. Instead of shouting at them, which may be scary, you try and bring them closer to you to show the other person. So that could also help. Rest assured that this administration will sustain current collaborative efforts by the NDLA and the State Drug Control Committee in the fight against drug abuse. Ultimately, the solution to drug abuse lies with the larger society, as it is essentially a societal problem. It cannot be left to government alone. The families, schools, the mass media, voluntary organizations, and religious bodies must make concerted efforts to confront and eradicate drug abuse from our society. Parents must ensure that they monitor their children and the kind of friends they keep. I encourage schools to encourage the formation of social clubs to sensitize pupils, students on the dangers of drug abuse, while promoting total abstinence. Similarly, the mass media must create content and send out messages that advocate for behavioral changes in the world. It is on this note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that I now formally declare this event open. Thank you, and God bless your presence.
Hello. I don't think people listening to this lecture that they are just giving. It's not a speech, it's a lecture. Another type of opportunity. No wonder he's the SLT of the state. He has done what has taken me almost a week to prepare. That is what he does in about 10 to 15 minutes. Sir, thank you very much for that lecture.
You imagine what will happen. And the priest scolded him. And every member of the congregation too was saying, And the man was so ashamed of himself. He felt so dejected that at the end of the service, he was so depressed to the extent that he has to go to a pub, perhaps to take some bottles, in order to perhaps ease the pressure of that bashing in the church. And while he was in the pub, while they were serving him the beer, he split the beer again. And the manager of the pub and the waiters walked towards him. He was thinking they are coming, he was thinking that he's going to receive another portion of the day again from the manager and the waiters. But fortunately, they were there to help him. And the manager says, "Oh, don't worry, we all make mistakes." And the man was imagining, is he hearing the manager well? And everybody there says, "Oh, sorry," and they start to empathize with him. And they ask from him, "Do you need another glass of beer?" That was able to lift the pressure exerted on his side by the church. He felt so welcome. And now, after the church, he was withdrawn. He was ashamed of himself to the extent that he couldn't relate with the church congregant any longer. But from that experience in the pub, he was free again. Then he could relate. He now felt welcome among the drinkers. Instead, what the church cannot give to him, they were able to give it to him in the beer parlor. The incidents in the church exert pressures on his side, which the empathy and the support that he got from the beer parlor helped to lift. And he became free again, without which he would degenerate to depression and any other thing would follow. People first. In all situations, we should make people first. The sermon is for the people and not the people for the sermon. The sermon is for the people and not the people for the sermon. The word is for the people and not the people for the word. So in all situations, we should consider people first. In all situations, we should consider people first. I wouldn't know if my voice is audible enough. In all situations, we should consider the people first. At every opportunity we have, we should empathize with people. And at every mistake people do or make, do not write them off. Do not just wave them away with a wave of hand, but empathize with them. People first. That is the need to show empathy to the victims to save lives. Lives first. All drug users have a meeting point, irrespective of the type of drug of abuse and the predisposing factor. Be it cocaine, heroin, cannabis, monkey tail, tramadol, methamphetamine, which is popularly known as Commemoration in this axis. Every drug of abuse and the users have a meeting point. And the meeting point is addiction. At this point of addiction, that is a state of having uncontrollable craving desire for the consumptions of drugs. We no longer see them as criminals, or we don't criminalize them. At this point, at this junction of addiction, they need help because they can no longer control themselves. The drug controls them. So at the point of addiction, or at the level of addiction, we see and we are saying to everybody that we should not criminalize the victims. We should no longer call them criminal, but we should see them as victims that needs help. At this stage, addictions, they become a victim of drug abuse, they no longer have control over themselves, we need to offer them help. We say stop stigmatization and offer help. Next slide. Definition of that. What are we even talking about? We are talking about drug. What is drug? Drug is any chemical substance, be it natural or synthetic, which when taken into the body system has the capacity to alter the biochemical reaction psychologically and physiologically. Psychologically, it alters the mood, the way you behave. And physiologically, it affects the biochemical reaction of the body, maybe as it relates to one health issues or the other. What is drug abuse? Drug abuse can be defined relative to three headings. One, drug is said to be abused when pharmaceutical drugs are taken without doctor's prescription. Anyone that is taking pharmaceutical drugs without, be it recommended by a physician or a clinician, the person is said to be abusing drug. Two, drug is said to be abused when one consumes illicit drugs, that is the prohibited drugs. The drugs that the law of the land has prohibited that you should not take. So taking these drugs, you are abusing the drugs. Examples of these drugs are cocaine, heroin, cannabis, methamphetamine, popularly known and repeated as Commemoration in this axis, Lexotan, tramadol, or 100 milligrams and above. Then thirdly, we said drug is said to be abused when one consumes socially accepted drug in excess. I know it will bewilder a lot of us that why are we categorizing alcohol as drug? But going back to the definition of drug, any chemical substance, be it natural or synthetic, which when taken into the body system has the capacity to alter the biochemical reaction, psychologically or physiologically, it's a drug. And you agree with me that alcohol affects both the mood and the physical nature of the drinker. Or do you want me to drive this point home to explain the point very well? Because a lot of people, in a lot of gatherings I've attended, people don't still believe that alcohol is a drug. I will quickly demonstrate again to drive this point home that alcohol is a drug and we need to stay away from it. Your Excellency, sir, if I place a madman on the road, sorry, permit me to give me 2 bottles. Let me denote this as a madman and denote this as a drunkard. If the driver of the state command, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, wants to drive into these 2 people while standing on the road, please, who between the 2 will leave the road to avoid an accident? The madman or the drunkard?
The madman.
Beautiful, you've answered well. The madman will leave the road to avoid an accident because the madman still has some senses of danger. He can still sense danger at that point in time, and he will leave the road to avoid an accident. But a drunkard, all his senses of danger has been knocked off, though temporarily. He will still regain his consciousness later. But at that moment that he is drunk, he is no longer with his senses. So a drunkard is a victim that we need to help to stay away from drinking. So alcohol is a drug. Thank you for that understanding. Now, what are these drugs? Common drugs of abuse. We have alcohol, monkey tail. Thanks to the speech of His Excellency, he talked about this monkey tail, the mixture of cannabis sativa and alcohol. We call it sapele water and the rest. And the cannabis will be shipped out of it, then we'll now have the liquid that already the tetrahydrocannabinol, the active ingredients in cannabis, must have been released into the alcohol. Then they start taking it as monkey tail. We are making research. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency is trying to make research why the culture permits that monkey tail should be served as part of things they use in celebration in some of these axes. I don't want to mention. Heroin, methamphetamine, popularly known as bromary, marijuana, cocaine, tramadol, swinol, codeine, pamolene, LSD, designer drugs, unconventional substances such as laser pieces, pit latrine, nail polish, spirit, petrol, and a host of others. Now, we have conventional drugs, all starting from here, from number 1 to number 11 are conventional drugs. They are stated in the status book. They are stated in our law books. The non-conventional drugs are substances that have active ingredients in itself, but are not written in the status book. For instance, if one should go to a pit latrine to go and sleep pit latrine, it is not recorded in our law that it should be subjected to arrest or prosecution. But they are drugs because the vaccine that comes out from the pit latrine contains some intoxicants. Yeah, it could look so, how will I put it? So offensive, but some people are abusing it. Nail polish, petrol, spirit, and others, they are referred to as non-conventional drugs that have some intoxicant within it. Yes. Then why do people abuse drugs? There's really no single answer to this. The various causes are interrelated and include ignorance. A lot of people that venture into the consumption of drugs did not know the potency or the destructive potency in those drugs. So ignorantly, they venture into the consumption of drugs. Availability of the drug. Let me drive this point home with a short story. I arrested a young man, a very small boy, who smokes cigarettes. On that fateful day, we recovered 1 gram of cannabis in his pocket. And they were asking, who taught him how to smoke cannabis? He said nobody. That he got to know how to smoke cigarettes from the parent. That is parental subculture. But on the way to the farm, he discovered that he sees cannabis sativa leaves. He used to buy the cigarette with money, but this one is free around his father's farm. So instead of him spending money to buy cigarette, why didn't he just venture into taking cannabis? And that's how he learned how to smoke cannabis sativa. So the availability of that cannabis made that man to venture into the smoking of cannabis and a lot of other circumstances like that, because it is available. Some users of these drugs of choice venture into the use of the drug. Environmental or peer group influence, curiosity, someone to know how does it feel. And there's this particular drug, heroin, that when one experiments with it 3 times, you can no longer desist from it. You get hooked straight away. You can experiment with it for the first time, the second time, but by the time you experiment with it, on the 3rd occasion, you can't get off. Because the state of euphoria that it will give to you, you will feel as if you should not stop again, and the person will get killed. Boredom. What we experienced during the 8-month strike of the ASU strike last year, make a lot of students to get involved in drug abuse. Boredom can make people to get involved in drug abuse. Emotional and psychological stress. To enhance their performance, occupational disposition, religious rites, cultural practices, parental and sub-parental drugs of culture, and recreational purposes. This is a pregnant dealer that was arrested from a town, Abbey, with 1.1 ton of cannabis. When the state commander was making his speech, he made reference to the tons, 3.5 tons of drugs seized. This is part of them, 1.1 from a pregnant woman. The next slide. This is a fake soldier, or these are fake soldiers arrested. There's another one. This is over 4 tons of cannabis. 4 tons of cannabis. Next time. I want us to play this slide so that we can see what the victims are going through now. Drug epidemic. This is a girl who has abused drugs. Tramadol, originally meant as a painkiller, but it's been abused. When you see them hawking it around, please stay away from it. Don't be tempted. Avoid that curiosity move that you want to see how it feels. Can you see? The effect of the abuse of drugs. The girl is no longer herself. She has lost all her senses. The police confiscated 500 pills. Now look at it. This is a drug subculture. The small boy learned this from his parents. While the parents are not around, he too ventured into the smoke of cigarette. From here, he will graduate to cannabis. We need to declare a state of emergency on drug abuse. Looking at all the situation. Next slide. Can you see? This man is so dazed to the extent that he's comfortable inside the gutter. And until he wakes up, he will not know that he's inside the gutter. Look at the lady. Next slide. Now, we are not showing this just to laugh, but to see the situation that the drug has taken the society into. And we need to address the situation immediately. If possible, to declare a state of emergency in drug abuse. In the world of drug addiction, stigma is dealt with traveling victims' rights in a variety of ways, including mockery, the inability to access both conventional and non-conventional treatment, difficulties in job employment, social humiliation, interpersonal rejection, the varying thought about oneself, seclusion, and or avoidance of intimate contact. These sum up greatly affect the users and frustrate recovery. The term stigma refers to negative attitude towards people who have an attribute that deviates from what society deems to be normal, while the term discrimination refers to the negative actions / behavior towards people who deviate from those societal norms. In the process of stigmatization, drug addicts are stereotyped as having a particular or set of undesirable traits, in turn causing their individual to act in a fearful or prejudicial manner towards them. Drug use discrimination. The arrow around the perfect circumference is what the victim experienced. Now, the society exhibits a negative attitude towards the victim. They stereotype them. They discriminate against them. They label them with all sorts of names. And there's a division. Oh, these are drug addicts. Oh, these are drug users. Stay away. I mean, putting in place a dichotomy between what we tag as the drug users and the normal people. And this is what the victims experience. And with this, it prevents them from accessing medical needs. Now, they experience loneliness, shame, feeling discouraged, fear of getting help because they don't want people to know that they are drug users, loss of job, isolation, and loss of relationship. With all this, it will be difficult for them to recover. And that is why we are here to preach against this, that we should not stigmatize drug victims, but we should render help to them. Next slide. Stigmatization happens when the person is revealed to be or is thought to be a member of a particular group that is seen in a negative way. This might be the result of perhaps the way they dress, the physical appearance, the personal behavior, the behavior that the victim exhibits, and their reputation. Next slide. Stigma affects individuals, families, and community. Self-stigma is when the person feels unworthy of help and results in people excluding themselves from services. The most common impact of stigma and discrimination was poor self-esteem. The first thing that the victim experiences from themselves, shame. Quickly, because of our time, I want us to look at the book of Luke, chapter 15, verse 11 to 18, the story of the prodigal son. Though it is not recorded as a prodigal son in the Bible, but we coin it as a prodigal son. The boy met the father and said, "My father, share me my own inheritance." And the father gave it to me. The Bible says he took up the inheritance. He went into a far country. He squandered all the inheritance, to the extent that there arose a famine, and he lacked what to eat. He joined himself with a man that has swine. He has no food to eat, to the extent that he was feeding on the husk of the swine. And a day came. He thought within himself that his father used to be a rich man. Why wouldn't he return to his father? And he returned to the father. While he approached the father, he said to the father, "I have sinned unto you and unto heaven, and I'm not worthy to be called your son." That statement, he is not worthy. That self-stigmatization. He has written himself up. But the father did something. In line with this year's theme, the Bible says, and the father leaned on his leg and kissed him, and ordered that a calf be dressed, and they made merriment. Now, the father has done what we are doing today. Do not write off victims of one thing or the other. When people make mistakes, do not write them off. I think when the father wrote that boy off, he would have had enough people to perpetuate his name. That means in the scripture, from the scripture. But he accommodated him again, dressed him, and bring him up. He was able to lift away that stigma from the boy. And that is the concept of our discourse today. Next slide. Victims experience this. In the employment environment, people discriminate against them, they gossip against them. There's a victim, and look at people talking about them. Job discrimination. Oh, I know all of us will say, who will be ready to employ a drug addict, either in the government office or in the private sector? Yes, you might not employ them, but you can help them until they get out of that drug use, then they will be useful again. Once they put it in your head, so many times you hear it over and over. It's like a recording in your head. It won't stop like I'm a crackhead. I sell my body. Once you keep hearing this recording over and over, this is what you start to believe. You start to believe this is what you are, and you are worthless. See, she is seeing herself being worthless. But we can still make use of our residual capability to make her useful again. Next slide. People with drug or alcohol problem often see themselves in a way that reflects the prejudiced judgment of others. Sometimes this overrides any sense of self-worth or self-esteem. This is also a strong link between stigma, self-stigma, well-being, and mental health problems. Family members are also affected by stigma. This can limit their ability to get help for their loved ones. A lot of families are tying up drug victims in their homes because of stigmatization. They don't want people to know that they have worse with drug problem at home. And if they don't speak out, how will the world get help? Stigma experienced by a family can also lead to feelings of shame, guilt, anxiety, or blame. Communities with problems of substance use are also stigmatized. This can be the case when substance use is higher or is just seen to be higher. This means the whole community can become defined by substance. They are also defined by the types of people who live there. This causes community and local residents to feel cut off and isolated. Nigeria is an example. Before we were certified to be drug-free, sometimes ago, green passport is a shame. The moment you have been seen in the foreign land with green passport, you will be frisked, even to your private part, because of few disgruntled elements who have transported or trafficked drug across border and give the whole nation a bad name. But thanks to the regime of Brigadier General Buba Marwa, we have been certified again. Now, to some extent, our green passport is not being subjected to such ridicule again. Next slide. Why tackling stigmatization? Stigma matters. Stigma results in people with a drug or alcohol problem being left out or ignored. They may also be excluded from service. Nobody wants to associate with them. People might also feel uncomfortable asking for help and can then reach a crisis point. This also stops issues in mental and physical health. Housing or debt. Nobody wants to give them accommodation. Nobody wants to employ them. Too much stigmatization. Next slide. Harmful effect of stigma and discrimination. Stigma and discrimination can contribute to worsening symptoms and reduce likelihood of getting treatment. A recent extensive review of research found that self-stigma leads to negative effect on recovery among people diagnosed with severe mental illness. The moment they see themselves based on what they are hearing from people, they don't get healed on time. Next slide. The effect can include reduced hope, low self-esteem, increased psychiatric symptoms, difficulties with social relationships, reduced likelihood of staying with treatment, and more difficulties at work. Some other harmful effects of stigmatization: social isolation, lack of understanding by family, friends, co-workers, and others, bullying, physical violence, harassment. These will therefore create less health insurance that doesn't adequately cover the mental illness treatment, because they are already being stigmatized against. No one wants to associate with them. Even the physician does not want to associate with them to some extent, except they have some knowledge of the concept of this year's team. And thereby, less medical facilities will make available to them. They believe that you will never succeed at certain challenges, or that you can't improve your situation. Deprive them of getting the health care that they need. Then, what can we do as individuals to help reduce this stigma and ameliorate the problem? Talk openly about mental health, such as sharing on social media. Educate yourself and others. Respond to misconceptions or negative comments by sharing facts and experiences. Be conscious of the languages you use. Be conscious of language. Remind people that words matter. Let us be conscious of the word we use. Just as His Excellency has mentioned through the SSG, we need to be mindful of the word we use if we want to help the victims. Show compassion. The father of the prodigal son, show compassion. The manager and the waiters at the pub, they show compassion to that man. And by so doing, he was able to feel relieved again and came out of his cocoon. Let the media know when they are using stigmatizing language in presenting stories of mental illness in a stigmatizing way. Further, how do we stop this stigma and discrimination? Tips on what to say. Let us say, thanks for opening up to me. Is there anything I can do to help? I'm sorry to hear that it must be tough. I'm here for you when you need me. I can't imagine what you are going through. We should stop saying, it could be worse. Oh, the situation is difficult. Oh, it's a bad situation. Let us avoid those things. Because of our time, let us quickly run over. Let us stop discrimination. Next slide. Education is a weapon. One strategy for educating the general public about substance use is the use of media campaign. Speak out. Let us replicate the success achieved in rape menace, in drug menace also. Rape victims were hitherto stigmatized, but today, as they speak out, they are getting help and justice. The success that has been achieved in the issue of rape, let us equally replicate it in drug abuse. So that those who are being locked up in the house, those who are feeling ashamed that their wards are drug addicts and being locked up at home, let us start encouraging them to speak out so that we can get help and the victims will be useful again. However, comprehensive social marketing campaign do have a role to play. Social marketing is defined as seeking to influence social behavior in order to benefit a target audience and society in general. The main focus is social marketing is determining what people need and want rather than persuading them to buy into a pre-existing notion. Social marketing in this our locality, I want to bring it down to Delta State. We need to discourage serving monkey tail in social functions. I've been invited to two social functions, or on 2 occasions to a social function where monkey tail was brought. They never knew that I'm an NDLA officer, and they were serving monkey tail. But I will not mention the name of the place anymore for security purposes. Next slide. Social marketing strategies can include public service announcement, billboard, mass media message, Nollywood films on effect of drug, media effects, and community outreach. However, to be effective, They should also include partnership with substance use agencies, non-governmental organizations, we have them around, government departments, medical organizations, service clubs, media outlets, corporate sponsors. Therefore, among highly trained clinicians, variation in positive language can directly impact the type of treatment that is offered to the person seeking help. People are more than the substance use. They are people first. People first. It is the human being, not the circumstance. The world is meant for the people and not the people for the world. The people are meant for one occasion or the other, and not the occasion meant for the world, for the people. So at all times, let us see people first. Let us empathize with them. Let us see the victims as people that need help. Next slide. Prevention tips. Because of our time, I quickly run over it. What do we need to be seen doing in order to ameliorate the menace of drug in our society? 1. Good upbringing. Sound upbringing at the family level. We should avoid parental subculture, whereby parents will be taking alcohol, smoking cigarette or cannabis in the presence of their wards. Introduction of drug education into school academic curriculum. Thanks to Her Excellency, she only mentioned it in her speech. It is high time that we introduce drug education into the school academic curriculum so that people will be conscious of the danger inherent in drug abuse and probably stay away from it. National orientation campaign on moral values. Expand employment rate in the country. From the statistics we have in our office, a lot of them says it's because there's no work. It's because of they have nothing doing. They are always sitting at home, and that's the venture into drug abuse. So we crave the indulgence of those in authority, the government, to expand employment rates in the country. To some extent, it will equally address the issue of drug abuse. Involvement of religious leaders in role modeling. We see our religious leaders as deputy God. So whatever they tell us, we tend to believe to a high extent. So we need to involve the religious leaders in this crusade. Real Father too, in our traditional belief too, we believe they have the Midas touch. So the traditional leaders are equally to be involved in this crusade. Yes. In conclusion, it is clear that people who use drugs experience stigma and discrimination in all aspects of their life, with significant impact on their self-esteem, health and well-being, and access to health and social services, housing, education, and employment opportunity. Let us see them as people who need help. Let us see them as victims and not discriminate against them or stigmatize against them. Therefore, stop stigmatization, discrimination, empathize, and render help. Thank you for listening.
Wow. How are you? Drugs already? Yes, one. No, don't be shy. Don't you take alcohol? Sure, you said it's a drug now. So please, we want some. How many of you are using drugs? 2, only from this side, okay, is expected. You, coppers, our high table, don't you take alcohols again? Okay. Okay, is that excess? Okay, what of cola? Cola nuts? How many of us take cola nuts? Okay, and I hope you mentioned that these are the gateway to becoming a drug addict. Whether you like it or not, they are the gateway. He said something. The boy was taking cigarettes. He goes to the farm. He sees leaves of marijuana in their hand. How am I spending money buying that when I can take this from pigs? We understand that they also add it to the food we eat, have it? Okay, thank you very much. I want us to stand up to stretch our leg a little. We'll be seated for some time before we take some questions. Yeah, certainly there will be questions. We just take 5 to 10 minutes because we plan to leave here by 15 minutes to 1 o'clock, please. Thank you very much. Stretch your hand. A round of applause for that lecture, please. A big round of applause. Thank you. We appreciate it. Thank you very much, sir. You have said it all. Yes. Okay, we can now sit down and take our eyes and open again. I don't know if any of our speakers have said or have mentioned to us that the Delta State government is building a rehabilitation center. Have anybody said it today? Okay. For now. The state government is building a rehabilitation center at Kwale, just beside the Central Hospital Kwale. It has gone to some extent. The Director of Planning Research and Statistics is here. Maybe she will give us more information on the state of that building. We actually need that building because that building will serve as what? As the third part of the team that we have, which is what? Good. That building will go a long way. We need that building completed. So we are also begging those in government here to please put in more effort to have that building completed. That is where we will be having rehabilitation, and that is putting the people first. It's not just carrying them to one cell, one jail or the other. That is putting the government first. So putting the people first is recognizing that, oh, you are already in a dilemma. Let's look for ways and means to help you out. So the rehabilitation center is already reached. Maybe it's running some finishing. So we get it completed to have one of the first rehabilitation center in the whole of the South. People call us. They call NDLEA and say, please, I have an issue, a ward, a relative that is engaged in it. Where do we take the person to? And we are contact. We don't know where to say. The only one I know of is in Gombe. As far as northeast Gombe State. That is not fair enough. So the state, Delta State should have one rehabilitation center. We are already on it. Thank you very much. I hope the children, even the adults, don't ask some questions because we'll be taking maybe about 5 to 10 questions from participants. The lecturer is also here to do justice. I am also here too, for you to know I'm also an expert in drugs. As a pharmacist, that is what we do. But I'm not an expert in the rehabilitation because I don't have skills to teach them how to do carpentry or tailoring or sewing or hairdressing. So we leave that to the people that are expert in that. So please, if you have a question, can you please raise up your hand? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, sir, please, you've jotted down. Let me start. 1.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is. I want to thank you, sir, for the presentation. It was very apt and insightful. My name is Pharmacist Edurinovi. I'm from ASABA Specialist Hospital. So my question is based on an antecedent. As a pharmacist, I actually worked in a community pharmacy, and I've had access to about 3 or 4 cases of people who were addicts of several substances, cannabis, cigarettes, some psychoactive drugs. And they opened up to me as a pharmacist because I noticed that they were always coming for some particular drugs. I'm like, do you use it? They say, yes, I take it. I cannot do without it. I cannot do without it. And the question came to me, I was like, you know it's bad. They say, yes, I know. Okay, if I want to stop it now, how can you help me as a pharmacist? I was able to engage with 2 people. One was a cannabis user because they gave us some little training, in counseling, But I want to find out, sir, is there something like a helpline, or is there an access, a platform where I can refer people to? Because some of these people are not people that I could actually engage with on a personal level. Most of the people I see that use substances like loud, they were actually younger boys that were into some other things that I will not go talk to. But they were willing to be helped, but I did not have the resource to refer them. So I want to know, is there a platform or is there a helpline or something that I can say?
That's a good one. Where is the second person? Okay.
you very much. My name is James Ado from the Catholic Youth Association of Nigeria. Sir, please, my question is that I remember last year we were here for this same seminar, and during contributions, I personally suggested that in terms of fighting against drug abuse, that the sensitization, the rally, the information should get down to the main people, the main audience. Sorry to say, we seated here are just 50% of the targeted audience. The main audience, the main target is out the street. And I suggested a step, like we used to have it then in school, drug-free clubs in school, and I think we still have it now. But by extension, I have suggested that this drug-free club should be established in our faith-based organizations, like the church. Let it be there. In the church, we have other social groups. Let this drug-free club be established there so that the message also could drive down home. I am sorry, I don't know if by now such has been implemented. And if not, please, sir, it is very necessary to enable us win this fight. Then secondly, I discovered something in my village, and even here in ASABA. Truth be told, the security agents, we know where these drugs are being sold. We see them every day, even here in ASABA. But the most painful aspect of it is that I noticed one thing in my village. There is a place that has gone so bad that the general name for that place now is South Africa. That is where they call that place. You see people, children, underage children, hawking drug at broad daylight. And before you know it, you see police van or any security agent, you see them there. Before 2 minutes, everybody disappears into the thin air. These people goes right in there, meet with their, will I say, boss or baron there. The next thing, you see them go. Within 2 seconds again, those workers converge again. So, I am asking, is it that some people in this sector are above the law? If not, I think if I'm into drugs, and I find it difficult to access the drug, to a large extent, it will help in solving that problem. But a situation whereby anytime I need the drug, and one funny thing about these people, they are so good, they are so nice to themselves. If I'm a dealer, I'm a smoker, I might come to a pros, I need them, I don't get money, I will pay you tomorrow. You will give me. And I will take. Because they have access to the drug. Please, I need you to react to this. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That is a spirit they call. Partners of the same feather are in the same shoes, flock together, so they will be close to themselves. Okay, I know he will do justice to the, but let me say something. The setting up of drug-free clubs in agencies and organizations does not really come from the State Drug Control Committee. You have said it now. In short, maybe what you do now is you engage us. You become the chairman of the State Drug Control Committee in your youth wing. Then when you need support, you want to go out for sensitization, you call us. If we have materials, we give, we support you. That is the way it should go. Please. So you are the anchor person now. So come to us. Whatever you need, we see how we can help you so that the message can go wider. Thank you. He will say more light on that issue. Please, the next person.
Coordinator, please. Can I attend to them so that I will not forget?
Okay. We have just gotten 2. Let's take
let me
attend to them, please.
Let me start from the first person. Those victims that have approached you, you can direct them to the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, number 1. Hold on, number 1. The reason why we are here is to make people to speak up. During my lecture, I did mention the situations of rape victims. But when the rape victims were speaking out, I did not get help and I did not get justice. And that is why we are here campaigning. I really commend the research department of the United UN Office of Drug and Crime Control that came up with this. This is to just allay the fear of people that, oh, we criminalize victims. No. The essence of being here today is to tell you that we are not criminalizing drug victims. We have gone beyond criminalizing drug victims. And we are telling them to come out and access medical facilities and help. That is that. Then we have private rehabilitation centers. If they don't want to access that of the National Drug, we have private rehabilitation centers. After the lecture, you can approach me, I will give you list. You can even Google them, you'll see it yourself. Rehab centers in Nigeria, all will come out. You will see them there. So if they don't want to access that of National Drug Enforcement Agency, I think that is that. Then you can help them by referring them to physicians, so that the first thing is to be detoxified, because their system must have been full with that toxin, that drug of choice that they are abusing. So you need to first detoxify them, counsel them, since they are willing. So you have won the battle, 50% battle won, because they are willing and they have surrendered themselves to be helped. So they have gone a long way. They are no longer among those who are still hiding away from help. I think that is taken. Thank you very much. Then the man that spoke, who was here last year, I can tell you that the State Drug Control, the Delta State Drug Control Committee have statistics here with us that we have established WADA in 58 secondary schools within Delta State. Number one. Number two, yesterday, the Delta State Drug Control Committee commemorates this International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Drug Trafficking in 10 churches. And my humble self standing here, I've been able to give sermon in about 2 or 3 churches within Delta State. Maybe we have not gotten to your own church, but I believe one day we will get there, or if you invite, or when you invite us, we will do that. On the issue of arrest, that is supply control, the state commander has spoken about it. We are trying, and that is why we're able to seize 3.5 tons. They didn't just bring it to our house. We went there. They didn't bring it to our office. We went out. We launched out, and we made this arrest. From the pictures that you saw in the course of the lecture, they didn't bring all those drugs to our office on their own. We went out to make arrests, and we are still doing it. So please, if you have good intelligence, good information, I mean, please access our office. If you don't want to access the Honorable State Commander and the Deputy State Commander in charge of operation, access me and give me the information. And I can rest assure you that those people will bring to go. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much. We are on the third person. Who is the person there again? Okay. So, where is the third person from this angle?
From West End Secondary School. My question is, how does drug enhance performance in school?
How does drug enhance performance in school?
And also, all these herbal medicine, is it a good one to our health? No, sometimes I used to have my mom will boil all these different types of herbal medicine for me. Is it a good one to our body?
Thank you. That's the third question. Where is the fourth person?
Good day, everyone. My name is Santosh Kumira. I'm a representative of Real Champions Conference. I have a question which, like, what do you mean by the world is for the people and not the people for the world?
I think, okay, it was part of his statement when he was making the lecture. war is for the people and not the people for the war. All right, that is Acts. The fifth person, please. Okay.
Good day, sir. Good day, everyone. So my question is, growing up as a teenager, then we used to hear of cocaine and Igbo only. Cocaine and Igbo, and then sometimes I don't even know I don't know the difference between the both of them, we just hear. But then as time goes on, there's another one, there is SK. And then there is Nkurumiri, yes. And then another one now we are hearing is Polos. So when there are different agencies fighting all these things, how come they keep getting new drugs to abuse as time goes on? Because if we don't correct these things, we won't be able to curb the abuse of drugs or stop the use of substances. We won't be able to achieve our aim if these things are not controlled. So how come we have agencies, we have the NDLEA, the State Drug Control Committee, we have NAFDAC, we have so many of them, and still these things are not even in control at all. Could it be that something is going wrong? Or are these produced inside here? Or are they imported from outside? We have immigration to fight them. What is going wrong? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. That is the fifth question. You will take these three that have been asked. Maybe we will still have more time to go ahead. Summary of what is wrong with Nigeria, with all these agencies, these things are. The name she called, I've not even heard before. What is the last one again? They said Polos. Please, you have the floor, sir.
Yeah,
Another one is gas.
Kerosene
oxide.
Polos is a mixture of multiple drugs. Polos, a mixture of multiple drugs. Tramadol, alcohol, cannabis, bullets. You see, when all these drugs on its own, they are intoxicant. And when you now mix all together again and you take, you can imagine what the resultant effect will be. The abusers of Polos will immediately fly. Yes, youth copper, before the awareness of drug abuse, there has been crime. Before the advent of drug abuse, there has been rape, there has been stealing, there has been one crime or the other. Yes, we agree that drug is the index of all other crime. But before we become conscious that drug is, there has been crime has been in existence. Likewise, when drug abuse came on board, we are trying, and that is one of the reasons why we are here today, is to wage war against drug abuse and its associated vices. So all the agencies we have mentioned, we are all members of Delta State Drug Control Committee. Not only the law enforcement, even the non-enforcement organizations are members of this committee, and we are trying. And we are only asking you to join forces with us. All are responsible, all are involved. The government agencies cannot do it alone. We need partnership with non-governmental organizations and even you to partner with us. And I believe by the time we all join forces together, we will be able to win this war. Let me tell you, hardly do you have any family in this nation, Nigeria, today that does not have a drug victim in their house. So, either you are a military man or you are not. We have this problem. So we are all responsible and we are all involved, and we need to join forces together to be able to wage a successful war against it. Thank you very much. The second one, the war is for the people and not the people for the war. It's just a concept to emphasize that people's first, in line with the theme for the year. That statement is to emphasize this concept. people first. That when you see a victim, empathize with them, sympathize with them. That mistake they made, it might not be their own making. At every opportunity you will have, because you are son, because you are still normal, do not wave them away with a wave of hand, but empathize with them. And that's why we say, do not consider the mistake they make. Do not look at the circumstances, but look at them first. That is what that statement means. The first question, how does drug enhance performance in school? It is a fallacy. Drug, in all circumstances, does not enhance performance in school. I repeat, drug, in all circumstances, does not enhance performance in school. It does not enhance your academic performance. So if you see anybody enticing you with it, please run away. Stay away from such people. So drug does not enhance performance in school. What's the second question, sir? Yes. The herbal medicine. I'm not an authority in this field, but I will say little. I know there's a department of Traumedica in the University of Ife. I met with a professor who says he's a lecturer in the department of Traumedica. Now, why am I telling into this? The NAFDAC are still working on this issue to be able to license herbal medicine and make it usable for Nigerians. Some are good if they are calibrated. What do I mean by calibrated? Given in the appropriate dosage. Now, the way we take herbal medicine, you just put it in the cup and you drink. Or the people selling it will be the one recommending it for you. But now they are subjecting it to an academic analysis, whereby an appropriate dosage will be recommended for a particular weight. So it's still a course in progress. And I believe we will get there very soon. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I think you have done justice to that prayer. To throw a little bit more light on what he said about herbal drugs. The issue about herbal drug is the organs of your system that metabolizes it. Doses are not there. Because for both adult, old man and little, they will say take one shot or one cup 3 times daily, irrespective of your age or your size. These are the things that matter. So for a child that is taking something an adult is taking, your liver, your kidney, your spleen is not developed to break it down. That's what I mean by metabolizing. You are sure that certainly later on in life you will have an issue. We have a lot of people with kidney and liver problem now. We were not hearing it before, but we are seeing it now. Also remember that this herbal drug is macerated, meaning it's brought out using alcohol most times. Alcohol, so it's like what he said about colos. You are bringing too many things into the system. So that is why the herbal issue is the way it is. We are not saying it is bad, our forefather used it. I too myself use it, but with knowledge, you know that what I am taking is not calibrated. It's not even indicated for anything. They will tell you one will do 10 things. Diarrhea, this, that, one single thing. So there is no scientific proof to any of that indication. So that is why we are urging us to stay away from it. Also based on the accident being alcohol that we don't want you to take even at this age. Children, we want you to ask questions. Not that after this place you go out and be asking the wrong people some questions about drugs. Ask questions now. Schools, please ask questions and be quick about your question. We don't want stories. Just be sharp about it. We don't have time. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Amy Chukpeza from Commemoration. I'm here to ask, is lecithin that is for sleep, is it harmful to the body?
You don't even know what you also know what is lecithin. Okay. Another person please. No, from another school.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Vincent Happiness. My question is, what kind of performance does drugs enhance?
They said drug does not enhance anything academically. You are still asking which one does it enhance? That you are not so you are not comfortable with the answer before. Is it also?
I know, sir. Some sports, some sportsmen use it, and they claim it.
I want the students. Are you a student?
Good afternoon, sir. My name is Chukwu Didesi from KBS Academy. I want to ask people that are producing cigarettes, they always write smokers die young, but they are still producing it. Why?
Thank you. I think you can take this three. People that are producing cigarettes keep writing smokers are liable to die young. Why are they still producing it, or why are we allowing them to produce it? That's the question, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me start from the rear. Cigarettes is a mild stimulant and it falls under the category of socially accepted drugs. Cigarette is a mild stimulant and it falls under the category of the socially accepted drug. But the physicians have come to realize that it does more damage than good. The harmful effect of cigarette is 100 times more than the good effect of cigarette. And that is why they are appealing to the users that smokers are liable to die young. People who reside in a temperate environment, cold environment, they take cigarette in order to warm up from within. But we are living in a temperate region. What do we need cigarette for? We are living in a hot environment. Somebody stay in Maiduguri, Sokoto and others still taking cigarette, so there is no need for that. Second question, what type of performance does drug enhance? Some drugs are stimulants and some are depressants. Now, when we say drug enhance performance, we're referring to those stimulants. Yes, I will explain so that you will not be left in ignorance. Those that uses drug in one sport activity or the other, they use it to increase their metabolism so that they can act beyond their normal self. Is that okay? But in your academics, you don't need drug. And even those who uses it in one sport activities or the other, if they are discovered, they will be disqualified. So you don't need to use drug for anything. Number one, Lexotan is not, it's a medical drug being used in the hospital. I would not want to expatiate too much on it, on the uses, but it can be abused because people are now abusing it. The medical doctors in the house, maybe I will leave it to the moderator, it's a pharmacist, will be able to tell us the people they prescribe Lexotan to. But people are abusing Lexotan now because they use it conversely to the intention that it is being meant for. So maybe over to you, can you expatiate for us on the use of Lexotan and why people...
The more we explain about this, the more there is inquiry. Yes, if I go ahead to tell them what Lexotan is used for, you have aided it again and abated. Anyway, it's an anxiolytic. It is used to relax the body, the brain, so that you can rest well. So that you can rest. It's not for children at all. It's not for anybody below the age of 24 or even 18. We are parents that are working, toiling hard here and there, trying to fend for you. Sometimes the pressure of Nigeria is above them. They come home, look tired, they are anxious, this and that. They'll say, let me take something to calm me. That is it. I think I will leave it that way. If I explain more, you will ask more. Yes, that's the truth. I think he said there was something I wanted to throw more light on again, but I think I've missed it. When I remember, I will say it. Okay, I think the questions from children are okay. Let's take from the youth group or the Catholic group. Pastor, please make it brief. We don't have time.
The speaker is so close.
The chairman of the house, I am from the youth wing of PMFN, the other state. Actually, as I came here, I actually know that there's no way I'm not going to come up with one question or the other. That was why when I was also praying to, I said, look, the question and answer is coming. Now, your work, there was a picture that went viral by Michel Platini and Diego Maradona. Maradona campaigned against drug abuse, while Michel Platini campaigned against corruption. As we are talking now, FIFA has levied corruption charges against Michel Platini, and Diego Maradona died of drugs. And one of the thing he campaigned again. As a worker in NDLE, what are you doing to cater for your own self against the drugs that you are managing all over? That is a question for you. What are you doing? Then the other one is, we've always heard of abuse of drug. Abuse comes from the word abnormal use. What are the normal uses of all of these things that are planted in our environment, that are growing up and all of that? Has the NDL gone to research the goodness of those things and told the whole? Because sometimes I also don't want to know. Let me leave it there for the pharmacy to take over.
Thank you very much, Reverend. An implied question. Did you see an NDLEA person abusing drugs? He said, what are you doing to... All right, thank you very much. The plans that we have around us, yes, are created for something. Yes, we have what is called analgesics, things that reduces pain. I don't pray any of us to be engaged or to have somebody close that has cancer, any kind of cancer. If you see the pain they pass through, you won't believe it. And those pain cannot be subsided by paracetamol. So those are some of the uses of these anabolic things that you see, so that those kind of patients can also manage the normal life that we are managing. Those are the uses, but we are not abusing them because we have found out that it subsidizes pain. Somebody will now go and take it and go and do some criminal thing, knowing that if something hits him, he won't feel pain. Or you are carrying, you are one of those that are carrying this thing for decade, water for decade. You want to carry 200 buckets where you are supposed to carry 20. You go and take something to enhance so I won't feel the pain. That is what it is. That is what those plans are meant for. We have done investigation. We know what they are used for. Cocaine is gotten from coca leaf. It is a plant grown in South America. Heroin is growing well in Afghanistan. It's a plant. So those are what they are used for, but they are for only medicinal use. At that peak of medicine is where we use it, but we are not carrying it into our social life. So that is what we are saying we don't want. Maybe you have something more to say about it.
Yeah, Reverend, thank you very much for your concern. All the drugs that have been abused has their good uses. The cocaine is part of the precursor they use in the production of pain reliever drugs that are being used when they are carrying out medical operations in the theater. But it's being abused, just as it has been explained. Heroin has its uses, but it's being abused. So they have their good uses. Time will not permit us to start talking about the whole thing in this forum. But as some other forum, I believe we'll have opportunity to tell you the good uses and how it is being abused, number one. Number two, in NDLA, we have what we refer to as check and balances. Even from recruitment. If you have a junior one, or a younger one, who apply for NDLA, they will tell you they pass through a rigorous medical test from recruitment stage. Find out for anyone who has attempted our recruitment. If you have found one thing to be an abusers of drug, right from there you'll be sent away. Because when you abuse cannabis sativa, the tetrahydrocannabinol will be the continuous layer of your skin for 30 days before it will disintegrate. And we can detect it through medical analysis. And that is what we are doing at recruitment stage. So we are doing, and why maybe within the class they have just approached me. that they are always available for you to access them for information. Mr. Friday is one of them. And I think, sorry, the local government again.
Picasso.
He's the chairperson for Drug Vanguard in Ikasau. So we have Drug Vanguard in all the 25 local governments of Delta State. So you can access them. They will give you information and give you directions in all area of drug menace that you need. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Another round of applause for him, please. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So please give us the vote of thanks. She is no other person than pharmacist Mrs. Omi.
Please permit me to stand on existing protocols. If you look at the high table, most of our dignitaries are no longer there. But I know the appreciation, the message of appreciation will still get to them. I'd like to start by thanking God Almighty for bringing this day to pass. Thank Him for journey mercies given to each and every one of us, especially those who came from Delta South, all the way from Bomadi, Patani, Burutu. Yes, we thank God for everything. He brought us safely, and He has given us the privilege to be part of this year's celebration. I want to thank His Excellency in absentia, but I know he will get the message. He was here and ably represented by the Secretary to the State Government, our own brother, Dr. Kingsley Emu. I will also appreciate the wife of our Executive Governor, Dickiness Tobore, who was ably represented by the wife of the Deputy Governor, Lady Catherine Onyeme. I'd like to say a big thank you to them. Just as I said earlier, I know that the message will get to them. I'm particularly glad that the Delta State Drug Control Committee is still enjoying the support of the present regime. Next, there are a lot of dignitaries still present, heads of MDAs at the federal level. You see the Correctional Center is being represented here, the police force, the NDLA, my main man, my main anchor is there, Barrister Tunde. I'm so glad. At the time you said we were going to go, I said, please, stay with us till the end of the program, and you obliged me that request. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. The civil defense, immigrations, did I mention the police? So please, we are grateful. On behalf of the Ministry of Health and the State Drug Control Committee, we are glad to have you here. Then the state LDAs, top government functionaries, the PS was once here, all the permanent secretaries here represented. I can see my friend and my sister, the permanent secretary, Drug Revolving Fund. Thank you, ma, for coming. And all the permanent secretaries here present, we appreciate your presence. The directors, my own personal person, the PS Minister of Health, was earlier on here with us to grace the occasion. In short, she is the chief host. And all the directors, the Minister of Health, Thank you all for coming, for your moral support. You have been with me all this while in the planning and all. Thank you. God bless you all. And the major stakeholders, I call them, there are so many professional bodies here. They are happy. If you look at up, you see that they are collaborating with the State Drug Control Committee. We are so proud of you. I'm proud to be a pharmacist. So thank you to Association of Hospital and Administrative Pharmacists and all the pharmacists here present. Other professional bodies like the doctors too. I can see Dr. Mildred, I can see Dr. Okwe, I can see Dr. Teshola, and all the doctors present. So thank you so much. And our major stakeholders, parents are here, students are here, the clergy, please. Why this International Day of Against Drug Abuse is marked is for us to create awareness on the dangers of drug abuse. So let me take it that all of us here are ambassadors. We have the clergymen. We have a lot of you here. Go to your churches. I heard one of you mention that we should also come to churches and establish drug-free clubs. You can help us do it. You can help us do it. But we are also willing to come. If you have any program that you are organizing and you want us to come and speak to your people, we will come. Please, let us be our brothers' keepers. So once again, thank you. I appreciate you all. I'm very, very grateful, and I wish you safe journey back home to your various destinations. God will lead you. The ones that came through the waters, God will lead you. Praise the Lord. Thank you so much.
Thank you very, very much. Another round of applause for Happy. That is the chairman of the State Drug Control Committee of Delta State, Pharmacy Mrs. Orie. Thank you very much, ma. I asked before, have everybody gotten food? I'm asking again. Have we all?
To make sure that we clean this. I think that NDLA has done so well lately. I mean, more than ever before. And then the scourge of drug abuse, it's also not very healthy for them. I think the consequences, both social and physical, are enormous. In fact, it impacts largely on the economy. If we lose all our youth to drug abuse, the way we're going, 14.4%, and there's a huge drug abuse. So it's better we start stemming them now, and then through preventive measures, like speaking to families, speaking to institutions, strengthening all of those bodies. The NDLA is doing a lot of sensitization, not just the arrest, a lot of sensitization that will get to the very root of it, and that will be very beneficial.
Okay,
because our youth are our future.
NDLA mentioned what they use in destroying some of those things, and you are coming up with a way which Delta State can be making money to a control measure. Can you speak to us more?
We're just saying that a lot of countries, a lot of states in the United States have legalized the use of marijuana, cannabis sativa, and it's a critical health input, health material, a therapy to solve a lot of health solutions. So if we have that capability, so to speak, and we can grow, it grows here very easily and freely. Why don't we cultivate it and translate it to economic use? To destroy 25.16 hectares of that farmland is enormous. The cost input, even the cost of destruction, is also a lot, and even environmental impact is also there. So if we can do that in a controlled form and have people authorized to grow it and have off-takers and have a foolproof way of taking it out of the country. I think that we should encourage it because that happens to be one of our greatest assets. Why not?
Thank you very much, sir.
What about cannabis, sir? What would you say about
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Let's get to your name and designation.
My name is St. Christopher Owueye, the Deputy State Commander in charge of operation and training, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Delta.
Subculture is one of the factors that is increasing the number of drug users in Nigeria. Tell us.
Yes, what we mean by parental subculture is a system whereby parent abuses drug in the presence of their wards, or even sending them on errands to buy these drugs for them. And when these wards see them believe or have confidence in their parents are doing is right. Therefore, they will always want to do same. So, parental subculture is imbibing the bad attitude of the parent, learning those bad attitudes, especially drug abuse, from their parents.
Okay, tell us about Colos. That's one of the highest.
Yes, Colos is a drug that is trending now, and Colos is a mixture of multiple drugs. Tramadol, alcohol, bullets, cannabis sativa, and a lot of other drugs are put together. This drug on their own, standing on its own, alcohol or tramadol, they are intoxicants. You cannot imagine when the whole drugs are now mixed together, the after effect will be terrible, and that is why immediately they take this Colos, it goes straight into their brain and they start misbehaving. It affects them physiologically, that is, change their mood. It affects them, psychologically, changing their mood, and physiologically affecting their health.
Thank you very much, sir. Your name again?
My name is St. Christopher Owueye, the Deputy State Commander in charge of operation and training, National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Delta State Command.
Thank you, sir.